Kerry Sanders in hard-hit Punta Gorda, Florida. Kerry, good morning. What are you seeing there?
Well, we're here in Charlotte County, and yes, there is no power here. You're looking at a community that did not get the storm surge. In fact, they got the negative storm surge. The water, because of the counterclockwise rotation and where the eye was, actually sucked all the water out of Charlotte Harbor. Kind of a curious view. But as we're waiting to find out about those who may need to be rescued, there are the stories of the survivors. And one of those survivors is Renee Smith. And Renee Smith is joining us here live right now to talk about what her ordeal was like. So first of all, Renee, I'm glad you're here. Tell me, where did you ride the storm out?
I hid under the kitchen table.
Under the table?
Yeah, I made kind of a fort with pillows and blankets, and I hid under the table. But before I hid, I had to protect my husband.
And let's explain. Your husband, Kevin.
Christopher.
Christopher, sorry.
Yeah.
Your husband, Christopher, he's paralyzed from the chest down.
Yeah, he has metastatic prostate cancer that has metastasized to his spine. And this week he became paralyzed, and he was at the hospital, but they released him to come home.
So how did you protect him, and what was that like?
It was terrifying. I took some blankets and I put holes in him with the scissors, and I zip tied him to the hospital bed, and then I took a big tarpaulin that had grommets and I zip tied that over it, and then I put pillows in plastic bags and I duct taped them to the top of the sideboard, and then I put pillows between the sideboard and the window because I didn't want him to get cut up to death if the window blew in. And then I put a life jacket on him so that if the water came, he wouldn't drown, he would float.
Quite an ordeal for you to go through that. I mean,
but I don't want him to die.
No, of course. And he's okay, right?
He's alive. He's traumatized, but he's alive. He was supposed to have radiation on his spine on Wednesday, and that might have helped him to maybe walk again, but it got canceled. So we're hoping that, that maybe that will still happen.
Renee, as you're here and it's just you and your husband Christopher, your daughter lives in Nashville.
She does.
What do you do next? I mean, your arm, I notice, is very weak. It's broken.
Yeah.
So what do you do next?
I gotta go home and feed my husband and clean him up and start my day as a caregiver. Take my trusty flashlight and go do my job. I mean, yesterday I wasn't a very good caregiver. Most of the day I hid as he was scared, and I wasn't there to comfort him. I was hiding. I was a coward. I was under the table hiding.
I think everybody can understand you did so much for your husband.
But now he's, it's time to be his wife again and go back and do what he needs.
Well, God bless you for that.
So that's...
You were here for Hurricane Charlie 18 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Compare what the moments were like when especially the back end of the eye wall came through.
Charlie had no back end. Charlie was less than an hour. The sun came out in the eye. The sun came out afterwards. There was no torrential rain.
And the back end of this eye was?
Awful. Awful, awful, long-lasting, as powerful as the front. You could hear the chimney getting ripped off the roof and coming down right above my head on the roof.
The chimney came down?
Yeah, my chimney came down. I was afraid it was going to come through the roof and crush me, even though I was under the table.
And were you able to look out, or do you have shutters up where you couldn't look out?
No, I didn't want to look out. I was too afraid, and it was dark, and I couldn't see anyway, and the rain was like white out. You could, even when before it was dark, it got dark in the middle of the day, like 3, 4 o'clock. I mean, it was almost like nighttime. And when the rain started, it was like snow. You couldn't see out the windows for the few impact windows we have. The only place I could really get a vista is upstairs, and I know better. Don't go upstairs. So this morning, though, I went up and I could see the chimney on the roof. And then I could see a bald eagle in my tree. The one tree that's still there. He was about 2 feet tall, big white head. He was my rainbow. Just to see that he lived, and I hope his family lived. And
well, Renee, you have been through so much. I know that you are doing so much for your husband. For anybody who understands what a caregiver has to do for somebody in the condition that your husband is in, or like that.
There's nobody else.
Yeah, but I think people who may not understand that is truly a 24-hour job, and in the middle of a hurricane, it is just that much more. You're very courageous.
Well, you're very kind. You're very kind, and thanks for getting hold of my daughter.
Okay.
It means a lot.
Great. Yeah, we made a call a little bit earlier. Her daughter didn't answer the phone, probably didn't recognize the phone number, but she left her a very kind message. So
Well, I don't
your
want her to worry.
Yeah.
You know, she loves her dad more than anything in the world. They're like two peas in a pod.
Well,
We were old first-time parents, and she was our world.
well.
I mean, she came into our lives, and she was the most important thing that ever happened to us.
She will be celebrating the news of your survival, and I imagine she'll be down here soon to see you and to help you out. Guys,
Thank
I
you so
think
much.
I thank you,
Yeah,
and I
thanks for
again
coming.
I hope your arm feels a little bit better. I don't want to. I want to hug you because
Yeah,
I'm
I
afraid
know,
I'll hurt
I
you.
know. Well, just broke right under the ball. And
okay.
they want to do surgery and a cast, but
Okay.
if it's 6 months, he doesn't have 6 months.
So, guys, I think when you hear the story of what one person went through, you can extrapolate that out to so many people who stayed put and endured. But it truly, truly dramatic for Renee and her husband, Christopher, who, unable to move and, too heavy to pick up and move and just all of that. I mean, what strikes me is the idea that you actually put a life jacket on him to just in case of the storm flood.
And I made a bad joke, too. I'm not a good humorist because my humerus was broken. But I made a bad joke. I told him that if the 18-foot storm surge came in, that his body would float up out of the tent and that maybe the water would take the tumor off his spine and cure his paralysis.
Well, sometimes we call that dark humor in a
It is
really
dark
bad
humor.
situation.
But
Renee, thank you so
when the storm
much.
is going, how can you think of happy humor?
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to the studio, and we really appreciate your time, and we wish you luck. I'm going to stop in over at your house in a couple minutes. Yeah, we gave her some water, try to help her out. Guys, we're going to hear these sort of stories, I think, all day, but truly a dramatic story here.
It really is. And Carrie, thank you very much for bringing that. His guest, Renee, really showing all the different ways this storm took a toll on people even before it hit the hospital. Of course, sending her husband, who is terminally ill and in need of surgery that could help him walk again, sending him home. And rightfully, right now, 9 hospitals